Welcome to the story of a girl who loved taking pictures. This is an official stop-motion animation from our channel. This little girl had a very special camera just like you. Well, actually, it was technically her dad's camera that he used for his photography hobby. But when he wasn't using it, she would borrow it and snap photos of everything. She loved looking at the pictures afterwards. The photos looked so pretty with their soft focus and blurred backgrounds. She wanted to take photos of everything. Every toy, every plant, every little creature that crossed her path, and her favorite thing in the world to photograph was her family. She loved how their faces looked with the soft light coming through the window. One day, she found an old dusty box in her dad's room. It was full of film rolls. "What are these?" she asked him. "These are all my old film rolls. I haven't used them in years," said Dad. "Can I look at them?" "Sure, but don't lose them," he replied. The girl took the box, put it on her lap, and started looking through the photos. Some of them were a bit faded now, but she could still make out the shapes and colors from those days long past. There was one photo in particular that she couldn't stop looking at. It was a picture of her brother, and their parents. In the photo, Dad was giving her a big hug while Mom was laughing and taking the picture. But something was different about this photo. As she stared at it, she could almost feel her dad's tight embrace, smell Mom's perfume, hear their voices calling her name, and see her brother's smiling face right in front of her. How was this possible? She wondered. Why did this photo feel so real? What kind of magic was this? At that moment, the camera in her hand suddenly flashed with a bright white light. Startled, she dropped the box and hid behind the curtains. Then slowly, she began to peek out. She noticed that the room was dark, except for a faint glow coming from the camera. Cautiously, she picked it up, turned it around, and gasped in surprise. The back of the camera was filled with hundreds of tiny glowing lights. Each one seemed to be holding a precious memory. The girl carefully touched the warm camera and made a silent promise to herself. She would protect these memories and keep them safe forever. But then suddenly, one of the lights went out. It was the memory of her dad hugging her. Her heart sank. Where did it go? Was it lost forever? The girl quickly looked at the clock on the wall. It was almost bedtime. That meant if she didn't do something fast, the memory would be erased forever. According to her dad, when the clock struck 12, all the memories captured in the photos fade away into nothing. They vanish like mist in the morning sun. The only way to save them is to get the film back into the camera before the clock strikes 12. But there were hundreds of photos in there, and she only had seconds left. How could she possibly find the one she needed in time? As she desperately rummaged through the box, she saw another photo. It was of her and her mom baking cookies together. And as she looked at it, she felt a sudden surge of warmth and happiness. The memory was so vivid, it brought tears to her eyes. Just then, the camera flashed again and the photo in her hands started to glow. The girl held her breath and watched as the memory flew out of the photo and back into the camera. With a gentle click, it settled into place, filling the empty spot. But the camera wasn't done yet. It flashed once more, and another memory returned, this time of her and her brother playing in the park. The girl smiled as she watched the memory take its place. It was amazing to see the camera bringing back these precious moments. But then suddenly, the memory of her parents' wedding appeared. It was the oldest memory in the camera, and it started to fade away. The girl knew she had to do something fast. She gently touched the photo of the wedding, hoping to trigger another memory. As the clock struck 12, the wedding memory vanished, leaving a cold spot in the camera. But then miraculously, a new memory appeared. It was the memory of her dad giving her a hug. The girl couldn't believe it. The memory had returned just in the nick of time. She quickly placed the film back into the camera, making sure it was secure. With trembling hands, she turned the camera off and waited patiently until it was time to develop the film. When the film was finally ready, she rushed to her dad and asked him to help her with the photos. He was happy to oblige, and together they looked through the pictures. At first, the girl was worried that the memory of her dad's hug wouldn't have developed properly, but when she saw the photo, she gasped in surprise. It was perfect. She could almost feel his tight embrace and hear his heartbeat echoing in her ears. The memory was safe. The girl hugged her dad tightly. She was so grateful for the camera and the memories it had given her. From that day on, she made sure to cherish every moment with her family and capture it in the special camera. Now, whenever she looks at the photos, She feels like she's reliving those moments all over again. And here's something really cool. The girl in the story really liked taking pictures, but when she was taking the photos, she always focused on everyone else and never herself. So, I wonder which character will take her picture. Oh, I bet it'll be her dad. He's the one who loves taking photos. And speaking of photos, let me show you mine. See, I'm not much of a photographer, but I try my best. Well, our story today is over, but we still have some time before bedtime, which means we can play a fun game. All you need to do is describe what you see in the painting using as many details as possible. For example, you could say, "Wow, I see a beautiful wooden house surrounded by lush green trees. There's a winding path leading up to it, and in the distance, I can see sparkling water. It looks so peaceful." Now it's your turn. Take a good look at the painting and tell us what you see in the comments. And if you want to see more stories about ordinary objects coming to life, just click on the screen. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on any new adventures. We have so many more magical tales waiting for you. I hope you enjoyed today's story and learned something new. Until next time, remember to be curious, keep asking questions, and never stop believing in the power of stories. Sweet dreams!